Hello and welcome back to my channel, friend. I'm Dani Walker. Thanks for joining me for the Miss South Africa 2021 recap. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I hope that you're going to consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell so you know when new episodes like this one are going to be coming out. And guys, I'm telling you, there's going to be so many new episodes coming out leading up to Miss Universe this year. I also plan once again on recapping Miss World, Miss Grand International, lots of new stuff coming that you don't want to miss. First, let's talk about the fact that there was an audience again. That made me so happy to see for this show. I want to mention that the contestants looked beautiful in vibrant colors for the opening. One thing that I think that South Africa is really great at is utilizing local designers to dress the contestants in. I think that that's beautiful. After they did the intros, we got right into the swimsuit competition. The swimsuits were by Tracy B, and they were so cute. I would totally wear these looks. So my favorites for swimsuit that stood out to me was Bianca. I really like her little cape flip that she did at the end. She brought this really beautiful, fierce face to the stage, but also had some softer expressions. I do want to mention that it's interesting, the shows I've been recapping lately, because their performances for on stage are so small. They're so quick and short. And I personally prefer a little bit more on stage time for contestants. Moratwe stood out for swimsuit. If you watched my predictions episode that came out before the finale, I talked about this, that she would be a surprise for finals and could potentially keep moving on if she had the opportunity to speak, and that's exactly what we saw here, and I had that feeling about her, which is why I mentioned that. Now, Kaylin, I really loved as well. I've liked her throughout the competition. Once again, she brought such fun energy to the stage for swimsuit. I enjoyed watching her compete. Johnny did pretty well. I think that her walk looked great on stage, but I wish she would have chosen a different pose for the end of the runway. I think there could have been a different option that would have been a little bit stronger. Lalela, once again, if you watched my predictions video, she was my favorite, my pick, and she brought the right amount for me of confidence and happiness and energy to the stage. I think she really looked prepared for this. Tell me, are you a pageant contestant? Comment contestant down below. I want to hear from you. And if you are, and if you're looking to improve your pageant interview skills, then you have to check out Rehearsed to Relatable. This is where pageant contestants can learn how to create a personal brand that you can use in your interview, for onstage questions, and in your social media. So if you've been struggling with that a lot, check out the description below. Leave it to South Africa to present a really unique segment before evening gown, and I loved this. The contestants had photos of their younger selves. They gave these letters of encouragement to their younger self, and I thought it was such a beautiful message, and this inspired their dream evening gowns. Once again, we got to see that these contestants were able to collaborate with local designers in South Africa, which is a wonderful thing to see, and I love that because they bring such unique gowns to the stage. First fave for gown was Moratwe. This color on her, I'm not sure if it was just the screen, because I know that sometimes things come across different on a telecast, but it looked like a really bright orange, almost like a neon tone. But the dress was perfectly fitted to her. She looked incredible. She looked beautiful, and the performance to match it was great as well. Bianca looked beautiful, but I think that she can look beautiful in anything. But this dress style, it wasn't really wowing me for the final competition. When I saw it, I felt that the color didn't especially complement her on stage. It may have looked different in fittings, that often happens, but I wish we would have seen this style. We can still see the same style in a different color, but aside from that, she still looked gorgeous on stage. So when I saw that, I was thinking, of course she's still going to be advancing. Johnny looked beautiful, another contestant, gorgeous face. I did think though that this gown looked a little bit young on her, so I would have liked to have seen her in something different. The combination of the cut and the color and the fabrics is what I think made it look so teen. Hotatsa was one of my favorites for gown. I saw the dress when she walked out with all of that fringe beading. I thought it was beautiful. I would prefer to see her in a brighter color though, so because of that, this was on the fence for me. Zimmy looked beautiful. This type of gown with that structured shoulder is what I expect to see at Miss South Africa, because like I've mentioned, especially last year, I loved the evening gowns at last year's competition because they were so unique and so couture. And when I saw this dress, I was like, this is what I was expecting to see. She looks stunning. Lalela, When she walked out, I was so happy to see how stunning she looked, and I got chills. Her dress was simple, but the white was perfect on her. The styling was clean. It just showed off how beautiful her face is. And with the bun, it just made her look even taller. So I loved her finals look. And once again, for me, when I saw her, she just kept solidifying for me that if I were judging, she'd probably be my pick. But we had to see how she did on onstage question as well. After gown, they announced the top 5, who were Bianca, Jani, Lalela, Moratwe, and Zimi. In my other episode, I mentioned that for me, the top 2 were Bianca and Lalela, and I thought that several other contestants were going to be fighting for those other 3 positions, one of them being Moratwe, because I just felt like she was going to bring something great to the stage, especially looking at her interview outfit. I had that sense as well. Because of that, these placements didn't surprise me. I want to give notice too to the gown change. I love the red gowns that they wore, but I also love the way that the dancers revealed each contestant when they walked on for a gown. That was one of my favorite parts of the show. Next, the contestants were each asked a question, and honestly, I think that each of these contestants for the top 5 and also for the top 3 did a fantastic job overall. So it's not just them answering the questions. In that case, it's not like anybody bombed and the judges are going to have to exclude someone because of that. It's more of just the overall impression you get from the contestants taking into consideration the onstage questions. Bianca was asked, what new skill have you developed through your Miss South Africa journey that you believe will help you most after the competition? And she talked about leadership and that she thinks it's one of the most important skills anyone can have. As a South African, she would use her voice to inspire and unite. So this was it was a solid answer. I think that when you talk about leadership, you might get a little bit more specific on how you're going to use those leadership skills or where you're going to be applying them to what social cause or issue. I feel like that could have really changed this answer and given it a little bit more depth. Now, Jani was asked a question about South Africa, and it was prefaced by mentioning that South Africa is home for her and what do you want people to know the most about South Africa. She talked about the humanity of its people. Kindness goes a long way and it is the biggest gift. She feels like South Africans are kind and it's always the one thing that she misses from home. So this was a good answer too, the way she presented it. Once again, there were no big like, ooh, oh no, she made a mistake. There was nothing like that during the show, so that was great to see for the contestants. I just feel like because these women are so articulate and do provide such in-depth answers, that's what really ends up separating them in the top 5. It's hard to answer a great onstage question in South Africa and impress people. Lalela was asked, in the upcoming election, what are you looking for in a leader? I loved this question because they didn't ask her, oh, who are you going to vote for in the upcoming election or things like that. They can really be, to me, an unfair question for many contestants. Her answer, incredible. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen after I just saw her speak at the top 10 reveal, and this is what I thought was going to go down, and it did. Her answer essentially is, what I look for in a leader is someone self-aware, accountable, and encourages critical thinking, innovation, and action, but more importantly, prioritizes the personal development of everyone in South Africa. I believe that a phenomenal leader possesses all these qualities. In front of a big crowd, let me tell you, when the pressure is on and your heart is pounding, it is not easy to think of all those adjectives. It is not an easy feat. This was just so well said. And when she said it, Pia, by the way, asked her this question. You could just see in Pia's face that she was like, that was great. Yes, that's what I needed to hear. And I just felt like it was this reaffirming that Lalela would be moving on to the top 3. I felt like that's all they were looking for. Moratwe, they were asking her, what is a special quality that you uniquely possess? And she said, I believe I have a quality where I can connect with people. It's what I advocate for in my profession, but also being a Miss South Africa top 10 finalist. I've been able to go to different schools pushing my initiative for reproductive health for young women and educate them about what is important and how to protect themselves. I believe that is my strength. And this is what I was talking about. If she had that moment to speak, she's going to talk about what she's advocating for if she were Miss South Africa. That's what she's good at. She did it and it worked. Now, Zimi was asked, why do you think it's important for society to allow trans women to enter the competition? And she said, I honestly don't think that should be a question. I think that as society, we need to release ourselves from the authority we exercise over other people's lives. That line right there, when she said that, the audience got going and it was so well stated. I was like, done. She has to move on to that next round. Then she continued to say, if anything, trans women should be here. I believe every identity should be seen in society. And once again, from the judges, we got that look of excitement from them. And I felt with even the other three contestants, there wasn't that like, wow, that answer killed it. So it was just interesting to really see the judges' reactions and how easy it was, I felt, to read them. At this point, the top three was no surprise at all for me, and the contestants got to present a short speech. Talk to the audience. Lalela's speech was about unemployment and economic empowerment of youth to secure their own economic future. This is what she was touching on in the top 10 reveal. So this is what she's passionate about. To me, it made a lot of sense. If the judges had not seen that reveal, then this is new information to them. And I think that that could potentially even be a better impression that she got to leave. Moratwe then got to speak, and once again, she's focusing on what she advocates for, reproductive health. And then she talked about her slogan, your health, your identity. When Zimi spoke, she gave a more generic speech, in my opinion, where she talked about dreams. And I felt like because it didn't boil down to a specific cause that she was talking about, then that sealed the deal and really solidified that Lalela would win. The other thing I forgot to mention is that I really liked that the reigning Miss South Africa title holders got to announce the top three. It was just different. It was a nice touch. Now, after they did that and we were ready to crown the new queen, this year they did not announce a first runner-up and a second runner-up. They just announced Lalela as the new Miss South Africa. If you guys are new to this show, which this is something I learned when I started watching it, is that they have the Miss South Africa title. But when you win Miss South Africa, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to compete at Miss Universe. They own the franchise rights for South Africa, Supranational, World, and Universe. So sometimes the contestant that wins South Africa, like last year when Shudu won, she will go to a different international competition. So we will not find out until later who goes to which international competition. Although I have a feeling this year that Lalela will go to Universe, that Moratwe would go to World, and that Zimi would go to Supranational. That's just my assumption, but time will tell. What do you guys think though? Which international organization do you think that they're gonna go to? Thank you so much for watching this episode, and if you're subscribed, I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notifications. I greatly appreciate that, and if you want to see any new episodes on the channel, leave that in the comment section below. Let me know what you want to see, because that is what inspires all the new episodes. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I hope to see you next time.